I think this does if Donald Trump can keep voters' attentions on this deal. This election is going to be a referendum on Donald Trump, and the question is, can Donald Trump make it a referendum on the Dow Jones and how well the economy's doing? Can he make it a referendum on the tax cut? Can he make it a referendum on the Donald Trump deal with Canada and Mexico? All those things play in his favor, but he keeps stepping on his message with Donald Trump dysfunction and scandal after scandal. And so the question is whether the new NAFTA deal gets more coverage than what he did yesterday at a campaign rally, appearing to mock Dr. Ford.
Yes, that is interesting because we know the economy, the market speaks volumes in elections generally, but midterms are a little bit different when it comes to turnout. Perhaps you need an extra motivating factor to get people out there to vote. And I'm curious in your thoughts about what we've seen with the Kavanaugh case, the comments yesterday that many were critical of coming from President Trump, because on the one hand, you might say, look, that could mobilize his opponents, the Democratic Party. On the other, you might say, this too is working to motivate his base. What is your take?
Well, that's what we've seen throughout this year. Both sides are mobilized and energized by either loving or hating Donald Trump. So if you look at how many people primaries, which is the best way to tell how energized people really are, Republican turnout in primaries is about 30% higher than it was 4 years ago. But Democratic turnout is about 70% higher. Both parties are really want to take part in this election, even more energized.
Well, Thad, you've also got this basically a theme running through these midterms, which is that it's these vulnerable House Republicans in particular. They're basically having to live double lives here, aren't they? Because at the end of the day, you've got so many conflicting narratives coming from the White House. You have this Kavanaugh investigation now by the FBI. You also, of course, have the president taking on China. Later today, we're expected to hear from Vice President Mike Pence. He's expected to go after China as well, really in the same way that they've done with Russia in the past, basically saying that the Chinese have been manipulating elections and have been getting involved in security issues as well. So a lot of conflicting narratives coming out of the White House, and it's basically just really difficult for these Republicans to know how to play this.
It is, and it's changed where they have to run. It's changed from the primary to the general election. I mean, some of these Republican incumbents were facing primary challenges that were keeping them tied to President Trump, because that's where you have to be. You have to be a fan of President Trump to get out of a contested primary in the Republican Party right now in the United States. But as you turn to the general election, in some of those districts it works, but in some of those districts, like in California, there are 7 districts currently held by Republican incumbents that voted for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. So you can't run towards Donald Trump there. It's tough to be a Republican now, and that's why the odds seem to favor Democrats taking the House in this midterm.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.